morning and welcome to the VSA Capital 5-Minute Morning Miner on Monday, the 2nd of June. The summer is upon us. Unfortunately, the weather this week isn't going to be that summery, I don't think. Rather a lot of rain about. Middle of June, I think it'll get better. Paul, how are you?
I'm pretty good, thank you. Pretty good. I hope that we get surprised with better weather than expected.
Well, you never know. Right, I think you maybe want to talk about the gold and silver price first thing this morning, don't you?
Yeah, that's right. We had pretty strong run here this morning in the gold price specifically. We're up near $3,360 an ounce US right now, and over the weekend that was triggered by, of course, Mr. Donald Trump, who has called into question the repatriation security of Germany's gold bullion held in the USA. He's threatening that he wouldn't make it easy for them to take their gold back out of the USA as it is currently being stored there. And that calls into question the practices across, certainly with reliability for storing gold in the U.S., because by practice globally, governments can store bullion in other countries or foreign countries according to meet government payment obligation and reserve needs as a sacrosanct practice, not subject to the whims of governments as far as their ability to be moved and so forth. But he's calling that into question at this point. So we'll see what happens there.
Yeah, quite an interesting one. I don't know where. Well, we sold all our gold. Gordon Brown did that, didn't he, at the lowest price possible? But there you go. Not quite sure where we store all ours at the moment. But anyway, there we go. Let's keep going on some news today. There's various bits and pieces. I see Empire Metals has had a major drilling campaign, and that's one of the punters' favourites at the moment.
Yes, that's right. Empire Metals, they made that pit-filled titanium discovery in sandstone there a number of months ago. And they call it the Pitfield Project, and they've initiated a new drilling campaign out there. This one, not to just define a small area, but on a 400 by 200 meter grid to cover over 11 kilometers of air core drilling to just see what kind of scale this occurrence of titanium might have. It is high-grade titanium, at grading over 7% from surface. But it is in sandstone rather than as a mineral sand. So it will come down to what's the size of this thing, and I think ultimately how easy is the titanium to liberate in the crushing and grinding circuits. But that's some ways off yet. We need to determine the size of this thing first, and that's what Empire's up to.
Yeah, that is correct. Now, also, I see Ferro Alloys has got itself a nice Chinese contractor for its first project out in Kazakhstan for vanadium. Any comment on that, Paul?
Well, it is a framework agreement because it is non-binding and hasn't yet actually had documents otherwise formally signed as to what the full terms will be. But it is intended that this Chinese firm will be doing the engineering or front end engineering, and then the EPC or the engineering, procurement, and construction phase. And now this is the format by which they will enter into the formal negotiations for sign off on a final contracted arrangement.
Yeah, I mean, it is potentially a huge, very low cost vanadium deposit. It's a sort of shale deposit out there, which is really interesting. I suspect the Chinese will also end up getting the offtake for it as well. And it will create quite a surplus of vanadium, which there is anyway at the moment. But it means that the vanadium price is not about to go shooting up, even if vanadium flow batteries take off, which hopefully they are about to. We will be hearing soon on the cap and floor bids going into the UK government fairly soon for Infinity Energy Systems. Keeping going very quickly, I see that Greatland Gold, they've done I find this quite interesting. They've done a placing basically out in Australia, but in the UK, they've just done a retail book offering.
Well, that's right. They've announced a conditional retail offer of new shares and minimum subscription of just £250 per investor, and it's through the retail book offer platform. Otherwise, the statement doesn't otherwise see just exactly how much money they intend to raise through this offer, but I get the impression it's intended specifically to act like a shareholders' rights plan, but for very small investors in order to participate.
Yeah, look, I just find it interesting because you could see a day when actually we don't have all of these placings and things done by the brokers. It just goes straight onto a retail offering, sort of open overnight. Bam, there's your deal done. It's technology taking over. Let's just finish, Paul, very quickly on Anglo American because they have completed their demerger, haven't they?
They have. That is specifically the demerger of what was Amplatz, the platinum subsidiary of Anglo American, has been demerged now, and that entity is now to be called Valterra Platinum and to be listed separately on the JSE, the Johannesburg Exchange. And Anglo American will continue to hold a 19.9% share of Valterra, but there is also a share consolidation involved, which became effective yesterday as well. So that was one of the big components as far as the restructuring of Anglo American.
Very good. We call it a day there. Back tomorrow. Thanks.
Very good. Thanks.
This podcast has been produced and edited by VSA Capital. It is intended for information purposes and not as investment advice. The information is intended for recipients who understand the risks associated with equity investments in smaller companies. Please do your own research and do not rely on a single source when making an investment decision. VSA Capital may derive fees from this content and seeks to do business with the companies mentioned.